Hello, I'm Josh George doing my SEC season preview. We're starting with the Eastern Division here. Vanderbilt. They're a team that is looking to rebuild under Clark Lee. They got a long way to go. Frankly, I'll be honest, I've got them at 2-10 in OA conference play. Now, South Carolina, they might have some of the best special teams in the SEC as they hired a special teams coordinator in Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer's could be a decent coach. He's got a B- rating according to some of the SEC, and he's got just not a young team. I'll say that. A lot of young guys, not a lot of seniors starting. A team that's kind of ragtagged. A team that is just going to be here and there kind of thing, a hit and miss. Really don't know what to expect. I got them 5-7 and 2-6 in conference play. Now, to the Missouri Tigers. Now, the Missouri Tigers have been a decent team as of late under Eli Drinkowitz, at least offensively, as their total offense has been 59th overall, and they have been looking to improve. They do seem to find ways to score in the red zone and things like that, and Drinkowitz was really good before he got here, but of course at Missouri he has been 5-5 in his first year, and he's really looking to improve. He's really looking to improve a defense that was 66th overall in total defense, and they're looking forward to having a rocking stadium and things like that in Columbia on the grass, and making that home field advantage play a huge factor. I've got them at 6-6 and 3-5. Now, to Tennessee. Tennessee's a decent, they have a new coach who's not really the Tennessee guy in Josh Heupel. They've got two transfer quarterbacks, and they've had a lot of guys transfer out. They may not start any seniors this year. They may be totally different and totally are building towards the volunteer future. I've got them at 6-6 and 3-5. Now, Kentucky under Mark Stoops has been decent. They've won 7 to 8 wins most season, and sometimes even 9 or 10 wins, and not just haven't been really bad. They put guys like Allen at linebacker in the NFL, and Wilson was a decent scrambler at quarterback, and the Wildcats have 6 guys on offense and 5 guys back on defense. And Brad White joins them on defense as the defensive coordinator. And, after going 5-6 in an all-SEC schedule, they are 5-6 and 4-6 in an all-SEC schedule. That's really not all that bad when you look at it overall as a unit. So, and they had one of the best turnover teams in the country, as they were tied for 13th. That could play a huge factor in some of their closer games. I've got them 8-4 and 4-4 in conference play. Now, the Florida Gators, on the other hand, are a team that Dan Mullen seems to be on the hot seat. Dressing up like Darth Vader, running onto the field, having a strange attitude, talking about hating recruiting, talking about how this team is dipping in recruiting, and things like that has really hurt. They've done really poorly against the spread over the last 5 years. They are below 500, well below 500 against the spread, and they only bring back 9 starters, 4 on offense and 5 on defense. So a young team, a team that Emory Jones, some compare him to quarterback Dak Prescott. He's not as big and wide, but he's faster, and he'll definitely be a running quarterback. And they will definitely use a lot of option, I imagine, especially with Damian Price as the running back paired with him. But they do have a tough schedule, or at least 2 tough games, playing Alabama and Georgia. And really, Dan Mullen could leave after this year to the NFL, and his head may not be in it in some of these other games. So I've got the Gators at 9-3, 5-3 overall. Now, Georgia. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know how I've got them doing against Clemson. And I'll talk about that game later on. They've got Jordan Davis, who might be the best defensive lineman in all of college football. And Devontae Wyatt is the perfect complement to him on the defensive line, 2 huge seniors, in a team that had the number 1 rush defense in America and the number 1 red zone defense in America. They had a couple of tight ends transfer in, a couple of wide receivers, different guys. JT Daniels is in the Heisman race. Some people are comparing him to that. Think he'll be the guy that has a kind of Baker Mayfield-esque, Joe Burrow-esque guy, and he could be. He is talented enough to do it. Will he make the strides with the full offseason? Zamari White is a good running back next to him. The problem is they are kind of thin at receiver and maybe at offensive line. But last year they were 56th in rushing offense and 38th in scoring defense. But a team that looks to improve, that has out-recruited Alabama. Kirby Smart has out-recruited Alabama in a few cycles. They've made some appearances in Chick-fil-A Bowls, and, they're right there. They just haven't gotten over the hump against Alabama. They don't see them in the regular season. I've got them at 12-0 and 8-0 in conference play. To the West. Sam Pitman and Arkansas. I've got them at 4-8, and the reason for that is they're just too hard to tell right now. They're just too hard to tell the direction they're going. At the time, I didn't think he was the best hire, and even though they did 3-7 in a COVID season and won some games that they maybe weren't supposed to, I'm still not high on the guy. Mississippi State and Mike Leach. See, we will find out if the air raid and Mike Leach's system will work in the SEC this season, because if not, it may never return, because he may only have another year or two there, because I don't know how long they're going to give him, because that offense did not look good. Now he's got Will Rogers at quarterback, and he's got some other guys that he's looking to throw in there to compete with Rogers, but really, we don't know who the guy is at quarterback for them. But we know Leach has had success in other places. He put up 44 last year against LSU. He only put up 28 in the bowl game, though. So will the full offseason help him get things together, get this offense together? He has 7 starters coming back on this offense. Will it be improved? I think they'll be decent and go 6-6 and 3-5. Now, Auburn. Auburn is a completely new team in a way. Yes, they have Bo Nix back. Yes, they have Tank Bigsby back, who's a big running back, power back. And yes, they bring back their entire offensive line, and 4 seniors on this line. So that's huge. But their wide receivers are all new faces as far as the starters and things. And their special teams are questionable. They usually have a good kicker. And then their defense, their defense was 38th in scoring defense, but they always seemed to bend and break at the wrong time. They're ranked 25th in the preseason poll and have Derek Mason, former Vanderbilt head coach, as their defensive coordinator. I don't know if he's a guy I necessarily want to bet on. He was okay as a head coach, and he might find himself as a head coach again someday. But I've got them at 7-5, 3-5 in conference play. Now, to the old MissRebels. Lane, Train, and the Kiffin. He's got a different kind of passing offense, He's got Matt Corral, who's a decent quarterback, who's going to throw for a bunch of yards. He almost got the best of Nick Saban last season in conference play. The problem was their defense. They were 126th in the nation in total defense. In the first game, they led him 51, 41, 63, 33, 35, 21, 42, 24, canceled the game, and then 53 points. So their defense absolutely has to improve. They only have 4 starters back, so their defense is probably going to be not very good, not much improved, not a lot of experience, not a lot to build on, not heading in the right direction just yet. But this offense with 8 starters coming back could be really good. They have a lot of their elite play and elite speed coming back. I've got them at 8-4 and 4-4 in conference play. Now, the LSU Tigers. LSU has been decent. Ed O may not be the X's and O's man, but he does have a national championship at LSU. He has a new defensive coordinator in Duranton Jones, and in the 247 talent composite, they're ranked 3rd in the SEC, which is decent. They were on a 1-year bowl probation. They bring back 5 guys that have started at offensive line and 5 guys that have started on defensive line. So they've got what is needed, what it takes up front on both sides of the ball. They'll have a new quarterback and some new speed guys on offense and some new faces on secondary, but they are DBU in a lot of people's mind. And Derek Stingley Jr. is one of the best, if not the best, defensive back in the country. And Eli Ricks and Michael Baskerville are good complements to that. And I think they can find a way to win 9 games. I've got them 9-3 and 5-3 in conference play. Now, A&M, Jimbo Fisher is the talking point here. Look, yes, they replaced Mond, and yes, we don't necessarily know who the guy is. It may be a freshman quarterback. But they got thumped to Alabama 24-52, and their talent just wasn't there, even with Mond at the helm. So I don't think there's any way you can say that their talent is there this year. I do think Jimbo has found a way to win some of the games they're supposed to win. He's had a good cycle of recruiting, getting guys like Shelmer Turner and L.J. Johnson and Bryce Foster and Ruben Fothery. And his win trend has improved by 30%. So that's huge over the last season. So they are definitely in the right direction. I've got them at 10-2, 6-2 overall. Alabama Crimson Tide, they're the machine. I could talk for hours about this, but to spare the video and to spare the fans, I'll say their best player on defense will be Josh Jobe, and their best player on offense will be Evan Neal at left tackle. And those might be the highest drafted players. They only have 3 on offense. I would say that's a question mark, but it's Nick Saban. They always find a way to reload. They're ranked number 1 currently in the preseason. I've got them 12-0, 8-0 in conference play. SEC title game. Alabama seems to be the favorite. Georgia has their chance, but Georgia always seems to slip up to Alabama. I've got Alabama 13-0, SEC champs, and Georgia 12-1. I'm Josh George.